What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Kalispell Warhawk Dynasty. My name is MrHurriicane, and today is the Year 12 Preseason Practice live stream. I always look forward to doing this stream, and it's good to be here with all of you today as we go through and take a look at this team one more time before Year 12 gets underway. We're going to take care of some key position battles and continue to see some of these young players that we're not totally used to yet. I'm not sure if the music needs any adjusting. You can help me with the audio balance. Always need a little help with that. But I hope you guys are doing well. Let's see. Okay, it is picking up PlayStation audio as well. Hey guys, it's like my latest stream I've done in like years. Alright, so Kalispell Warhawk practice. That's what we have today. There we go. Got the chat over here as well. That should work. There we go. I knew I was missing something. I turned down the music on my end. I'm like, something seems a little out of place. Please tell me Twins return this weekend. I'll try, but right now I'm thinking it's probably gonna have to come out Monday. I really wanted it out this week, but I just haven't been able to get it done yet. How much did Luke Irvin's throw power go up? You know, I'm not sure. I think it went up by a point, maybe, but I'm not too worried about his throw power. It's a 90. His accuracy is really good, so I'm not really that worried about it. The position battles I'm interested in today are running back number 3. You know I'm going to utilize at least 3 running backs. I want to figure out, you know, wide receiver 4, or like if someone gets hurt, who's the next fill-in wide receiver. I would like to go to defense and figure out kind of the second or third pass rusher situation. And then at linebacker, we don't know much about these guys. Cam Stewart, Rayshawn McNeil. If I check out stats, Cam's a senior. He's hardly played. Rayshawn McNeil, redshirt freshman, obviously didn't play a year ago. Jaron Williams has a little bit of playing time in his career, but he's not the best cover player. However, his ratings have gotten better, so maybe he's not as bad at that as I had originally thought. Development is nice. And then there's Braylon Kendrick, and he has played a decent bit as of last year, so there's a chance he gets some playing time. His cover skills aren't all that fantastic, so, you know, I really want to see Jaron Williams today. I think that's the player to watch out for. And then, of course, more Elliott Red and Jermaine Kent. My question to all of you is Jermaine Kent good? I have no clue, and I don't think anybody does yet because we've hardly even seen him on this team. Have I edited the tight ends to fix their awareness? I haven't. But being that they're both low-rated tight ends, and they just made the position switch, I'm not going to have them exactly back to their original awareness. What I'm going to do, actually, because they were 55 and 65 respectively, I'm actually going to edit them to both be 55. So they're just going to have to progress as tight ends. I'm not too worried about the ratings in that respect. Harold Kaufman, thank you for the super chat. Kane, how did it feel in the Dingoes series to have the game destroy the Warhawks roster? You know, it wasn't as bad as it could have been. I have seen his episode now. I really like how he put it together. But I feel that that team is, you know, probably what a more realistic Kalispell would be. Just kind of decent. Maybe a Mountain West bowl game competitor on a year-to-year basis. I think that they had a few interesting players there. Marcus Mooney, wouldn't mind having him on this roster. But if for those of you unaware, not the expert who does Dynasty videos as well, he did a game against Kalispell, and I did some radio calls for him. Some of you were wondering if I was going to do something like that, and I had to keep quiet because I wanted him to be able to reveal the surprise there. Damon, thank you for the super chat. Best city to do a relocation in Madden? You know, I like the Sacramento Miners. There were a few teams whose uniforms I liked, but now it's going on 10, 11 months since I last saw that. So I can't remember all the ones, but basically I would just go by what uniforms you like. The Portland Snowhawks have a good uniform set up. Like I said, the Sacramento Miners, I liked theirs a ton. I feel like there was one in Chicago I liked, but I'm not refreshed on it. The London Black Knights have a really good uniform set up as well, if you don't mind that setup. Oh yeah, I have to give Navarro a little bit of pounds. Yeah, I'll have to do that afterwards. My Madden 20 XP sliders. Whatever T-Dog has in his Throne Operations Sports, that's what I've been going with this year. And I haven't really looked at it in quite some time. Randy, thank you for the super chat. Any new baseball coming? Super Mega Baseball 2? I'm going to be doing Twins. I'll probably get it up Monday. But Super Mega Baseball, I haven't played that in a little while. I really want to play it again. I'm not sure if I'll get around to much baseball ahead of spring. I know a lot of you have been wanting it. There wasn't quite as much baseball this year as I think any of us would have liked. Next year I do intend to return to Super Mega Baseball, and I'll probably be done with Surf by then, I'd have to imagine. But in the near future, I mean, in streams, I guess anything's on the table. Just because I want to do a bit more casual streaming and just get around the different sports games and do a lot of like one-off stuff. Like there's potential for stream series on games like NFL Head Coach or an older Madden or something like that. I'm more thinking about one-offs. And with that being said, perhaps I can get around a little baseball. Not sure what I do though. What do I think about Mahomes being out for the next couple weeks? I'm glad it's not longer. I'm still really surprised at that play call that, you know, the announcers were talking about it. Mahomes, the ankle's bothering him. Don't expect him to sneak. And he suffers an injury to his knee. I'm just surprised they did that. Here's the speed of Elliott Red, by the way. How can a pulling lineman get out in front to block him? He's too fast. That's a rare play. I really think Elliott Red can be a game changer on this defense. He's just going to be able to do things I've never seen at safety in this game, being 6'5" with 98 speed. It's going to be special. Tyrus Sparks is fantastic. In that Bucs series, he's progressed faster than I think both Greenberry and Unger. Not rating-wise, I'm more so looking at just the overall play. Like, he had really good numbers his rookie season, and he's done well in the postseason so far, whereas it took Unger a few years to get there. I feel that it's been the smoothest with him. Do I think the XFL is going to last? You know, that's kind of a weird question, because even if it's not successful, Vince McMahon's ego might keep it running longer than it should. I don't know, but I know that it's going to be fun to watch, just to see what happens. I really don't know, because to me, it feels like the ship has sailed for another like football product to actually be successful. Not that I don't want to see it, I just have my doubts, and I guess I'll believe it when I see it. But I think there's a reason these leagues continue to fold, and usually you know about them folding before you know about them existing. Out of all the rebuild series, which is your favorite? Man, I think the Browns series was pretty special. Just looking at how Perry Cummings changed that team, and like the drafting of Perry Cummings is not something you can plan for, and it's one of those things that now that I even know that possibility exists, I may never be able to do it again. That's why that one's so special to me. Perry Cummings, 77 overall receiver, But, you know, I'm always checking out different ratings. You know, I have to just see everything a player brings to the table. And for the first time, I really spotted a player who was out of position, but out of position where when you switched him over, he was going to be truly elite from day one. So, the Perry Cummings story arc is something I may never be able to replicate. Randy, thank you for the super chat. Where in Texas am I? I'm just saying Central Texas. You know, I don't really get too specific about that kind of stuff. But it's hot here, and I like it. It's definitely the warmest October I've ever experienced, and I have zero complaints. Alright, we've seen a good deal of the starters here. We know Luke Irvin. We know these guys. Let's see some other players out there. Can the Vikings get to 11 wins this year? I think so. I do think that if they continue to play like they have been and they can continue to be dominant at home, they have a real shot. This weekend is already their last road division game, oddly enough, just the way the schedule's gone. So if they can score this victory against the Lions, that'll be really nice. Move to 5-2. They're probably not going to face Mahomes when they come around to play Kansas City here in a few weeks. So that gets the schedule a little bit easier. Their schedule's not the most friendly, but things change throughout the year, so we'll see where they're at. Let's see. We know about Lindsey, route runner. Does that stuff pretty well. But how about Josh Vincent? I think we have to see more of him after last stream. And then we'll also get Travis Clemens out there. FIFA, NHL, or 2K20 franchises? Probably not. There's a much better chance that I end up just streaming to see what's up with those games. And then maybe turn it into a video if it's interesting at all. For those of you that watched the Maximum Football video, what'd you think of that? I felt like the video was pretty slow to start. The material I had for the second half of that video was so much better. But I've seen the watch time, and I know a lot of people didn't make it to that part of the video, unfortunately. But that's kind of my vision, you know? We chilled, we played Maximum Football for a couple hours, I took the time to edit it down, and boom, content. Let's get Jeffries out there. We have to decide today, like, is Jeffries getting redshirted or not? I can't keep delaying that decision, because I'm going to be playing week 1 tonight and getting it up tomorrow for the channel. Alright, we're going to keep Jermaine Kent out there. We still don't know if Jermaine Kent is good. Hey Gage, thank you for the super chat. Congratulations on the move, and thanks for the continued great content over the years. I appreciate that. Love that you guys are giving me this opportunity to make content on a full-time basis and just put so much time and effort into something that 10 years ago I never would have imagined would exist. Hey, there's Jermaine Kent. Maximum Football looks like it would be fun to watch a few seasons. It's got some redeeming qualities to it, but I don't know if I want to go through seasons yet on it. I'm not sure if it's ready for that. They did put out a new update. I'd like to revisit it now that it has another patch to see anything that has improved, although it seemed that it was more improved from a feature standpoint than gameplay. So, you know, if they can get around to a big gameplay patch. I know from reading the Operation Sports forums, they're trying to improve, like, the delay between the quarterback handing off to the running back. It's just little stuff like that if they can start getting cleaned up, it'll become a better game. But, oddly enough, that game gave me the real itch to go play All-Pro Football. I think a lot of people would like to see me play some All-Pro Football. It would be perfect here for the stream, and potentially could work out into a mini series or something like that. Nice pick. Sonny Archer or Tyrone Houston. I think Houston's better. I think Houston is the more consistent of the two. Especially when you consider what he's done as a runner in this series. Alright, Irvin, I've seen enough. He's great. I actually want to see Antoine Morgan. We're going to decide today who QB2 is. Is it Morgan or Reddick? And last episode, the off-season practicing I did before, I feel like Morgan was the better passer. That could relegate Reddick to simply being a gadget Taysom Hill player. And yeah, Morgan's accuracy is indeed better. Ugh. What was for dinner tonight? All I've had so far for dinner is a smoothie. So I'm not exactly satiated right now. I could use a bit more fuel. Your interior line is giving you a clean pocket every time. Yeah, I think our offensive line situation is strong. I know I'm a little critical of losing, you know who I lost, Johnny Cabral. But maybe it won't be too bad. Hey, there's Jermaine Kent. Oh yeah, James Huggins always looks good. He actually has no need to even be on the field. I'll try. I'm not sure I changed the right depth chart. I might have changed mine, the offensive side. So I need to go to defense and make sure that those changes can be duplicated. I want to see Jarren Williams because I've always viewed him as a pure run stopper, but that might not be the case any longer. So we're going to take a look at that. We're going to get Michael Hurst out there. We're going to get Trey Walker. And we're also going to see a little bit of DeHonte Jeffries and Brian Rice. At the nickel, let's go Maurice Doucette. I actually like Jarren Williams a good bit. He is our highest rated linebacker, period. 83 speed. He has 81 zone coverage now, I'm pretty sure. 89 block shed. Like, on paper, his cover skills are actually better than James Huggins. He might even be our best coverage linebacker overall now, although Matt Armstrong would give him a run for his money there. He has pretty good zone. So, yeah, I'm not sure what to expect. Mid-season award winners. You know, in the NFL, I've obviously been watching games every week, but I'm not as up with different teams and stuff as I'd like to be. The beginning of the season was really tough just because I've been doing the move and everything. The last couple weeks, getting everything settled down has been a little easier, but I still haven't had the chance to really watch like games I miss. There are plenty of games, like the Vikings play at noon, and that's the only game I usually keep on, so I miss like 7 games by default right there. There's always something I want to see. So I don't know. Award winners, I'd basically be reciting stats. I want to have some more unique opinions if I'm going to go into that, so this weekend I may actually have a chance. Tomorrow, if I can get Kalispell done early on, maybe watch a little college football and get to my fantasy research a bit deeper this week. I really wanted to just be able to couple my fantasy research that I do and also throw on NFL Game Pass. You can kind of build like a list of plays you want to watch. So I could like see every target that someone like, you know, Auden Tate has gotten. I haven't seen Auden Tate's targets. All I know is he's all of a sudden getting some, and it's taking a little bit of the attention away from Tyler Boyd. So it's like I want to know more about that kind of thing. And it's just been so tough the beginning of this year. I watched the first game of the year at a Texas hotel room, watched the Vikings after the fact because I was driving through Iowa when they were playing. So it's been all I can do to carve out Sunday to watch the Vikes for the most part. Auden Tate, 99 spec catches. Oh yeah, I know he had a catch people were freaking out about last week. I'm not sure I ever saw it. Matt Stafford or Kirk Cousins? Overall, I think Stafford is the better quarterback. But Kirk on his best day versus Stafford on his best day, I don't know. Might be too close to call. TJ Garner. Wow, that's a throwback. That is a real throwback. That's a name I haven't heard of in forever here. Oh, Josh Vincent. Do I think someone from this team can win the Heisman? Maybe Irvin. I feel that we spread the ball around too much to have a skill player win it. I think Irvin's our best shot. But it hurts because, like, it's basically a cheat code to have a rushing quarterback both in real life and in NCAA because they just rack up stats and touchdowns. Like, what do I have to do with Irvin as a pocket passer to win Heisman? Like 45 touchdowns? That's probably not going to happen. Matt Castle or Matt Schaub? Right now, I would probably go Castle just because no. But for career-wise, like, peak Matt Schaub was a pretty good quarterback. How Warren never won a Heisman is beyond me. Yeah, the way I look at it, if I couldn't do it with Warren, I'm never winning the Heisman. I think I have to change their play. Need to get them out of this 2-4-5. I like this default playbook they go with here. Makes it hard to scout other linebackers. Maybe there's something I can do here. I guess I'll have to just move them between the inside linebacker and not worry about the outside as much. Let me mess that up. Yeah, I couldn't do it with McKenzie. Couldn't do it with Warren. I don't think I'm ever winning the Heisman in this game. Russell or McCaffrey for MVP? I'd probably have to go Russell Wilson. McCaffrey's doing everything he can, though. It's been fun to watch. I still don't think that fake Philly special play they ran against Tampa was that bad of an idea. Just Hargreaves made a really nice play. Let's back up a little bit more. No, I want to be on the 40. We're going to get Morgan out there. Yeah, Matt Ryan, there's nothing more that guy can do. The defense is just impossible to work with. An all-purpose back to win a Heisman in this game. Either an all-purpose back or an option back that runs for 2,000 yards. Are they still playing James Huggins? Have I not set this up properly? I really want this position battle to be a little bit easier. Yeah, I don't know why I did that. There, Rayshawn McNeil. I think Mike Zimmer is a really good coach. I would put him, I wouldn't call him a top tier coach, but I'd have him like just below, like, you know, Super Bowl caliber coach. But, you know, his teams have been a little inconsistent. We haven't seen the Vikings go to the playoffs in back-to-back years. They haven't shown up in many big games during his tenure. And there's just been too many games where the team just hasn't looked prepared. And I think that there's still time and the chance that a lot of this stuff gets sorted out with like the coordinator swapping and constantly having this offensive identity that's messed up. But I mean, he is a master of defense. He's very good. There's rarely an issue overall with the defense. There hasn't been now in a year. That was when teams seemed to have figured out a few of the Vikings techniques, and they were taking advantage of it for, you know, around a month. But that was shored up, and the defense is back to being upper tier again. Is Harbaugh a top tier coach? John Harbaugh? I really think so. I think that he does a really good job of keeping his team prepared. And, you know, I think with a lot of coaches, like, I don't think they would perform as well with that roster. Their roster is solid, but I feel the Ravens consistently outperform their talent level. I think they're able to reach up a little bit. Robert, thank you for the super chat. Do you think the Cowboys will fire Jason Garrett, or am I going to be clapping hell for the next decade? To be honest, I feel like there's still a good chance they go to the postseason, and if that happens, then I think you're going to be clapping for at least another season. I don't know, like, Jason Garrett's been on the hot seat for the last decade, and he always comes away with his job intact one way or another. Last year, trading for Amari Cooper saved the season. This year, I don't know what the answer is, but they won their first 3, looked strong, lost their last 3. Dak isn't looking that great anymore. I was also looking at a stat the other day. Someone said the Cowboys went from like 35% play action in the first 3 weeks to like 15% play action. I don't know if Garrett is messing with some stuff here, some tendencies. Because, I mean, the first few weeks, everyone's saying Kellen Moore is, you know, this great coordinator. And yeah, the offense was flawless. They didn't have Zeke, like, you know, 100% Zeke. It didn't matter because Dak was throwing for 400. I like Tomlin as well. I think Tomlin's a really good coach. Seems like, you know, it might be somewhat difficult for him to maintain that position if the Steelers can't turn it around quick. Don't think Rudolph's the answer. They're going to have to figure that out. I don't know. The Steelers might actually be a patient enough organization to where they won't overreact too quickly. They missed the playoffs last year, though. This year they might get a pass because, you know, Ben got hurt so early. And now, you know, they're running this weird offense with Hodges and I don't know. They might even find their way in the wild card mix, given the AFC's current status. Mad Max, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that. What are my top 5 quarterbacks from any Dynasty series? Also, I thought about doing an online franchise in Madden 20. I think that it'd be really fun, but the scheduling of everything is just something I don't think is going to work. You know, many years ago, I probably would have loved it, but I just don't think there's a chance I can coordinate with people to do things consistently and to time everything up. Otherwise, I mean, it'd probably be the most fun games if there's the right people in the league and the right leadership and everything at the top. I've always felt like I've missed out by not being in an online franchise, but I just don't think it's possible for me. Let's get a new back out there. But I was asked about Top 5 quarterbacks from any dynasty. So if we keep it to just dynasty series, I think you have to put Brandon Warren at the very top in his rings. You got to have McKenzie in there. I'm not sure if you're including franchise. You said dynasty, so I'm just thinking dynasty myself. Let's get Jermaine McIntyre out there. They're calling him an impact player. Is he an impact player with acceleration and agility below 80 though? We'll see. So, Warren, McKenzie. Gallagher has to be up there. Irvin has probably cracked the top 5. Just because in Minnesota, it was like McKenzie and Gallagher. We only saw a little bit of Andrew Johnson. And prior to that, you know, I wouldn't say Nelson was anything great. With UTSA, the quarterback situation was never, like, great. That team didn't get to the point of being, like, anywhere near Minnesota or Kalispell. So I think it has to go number 1, Warren. Number 2, McKenzie. 3, Irvin. 4, Gallagher. 5, Walker? Oh yeah, JR. I knew I was forgetting somebody. So JR over Walker. I feel like probably can't put him under Irvin yet. First game on YouTube in this season is going to be tomorrow against Fresno. Ooh, Phoenix Chambers. Underrated is Colbert. Yeah, we had some good times with Justin Colbert. I feel like I need a full-time historian to just, like, summarize this stuff for me, so when I need to, like, remember back to a past team or a past player, I don't forget everything. Because at the same time, as we've gone far into the future, I'm doing other series. And so I did, you know, 18 seasons with the Browns, shortly followed by, like, another 15 with the Cardinals. And now I'm, what, 3, almost 4 years in with the Bucks? And that's just that channel. Let's switch up the formation. Let's go under center. There's no Stanford game this year, but next off season there will be a year 13, and I don't think anybody will let me forget again, which is great news. Phoenix Chambers can't hang on to it. Remember Tyrone Campbell? Yeah, that was one of the early storylines here on the channel that was pretty wild. That was back when NCAA had soft commits. I don't know why they removed that feature. It's extremely realistic to have these wishy-washy athletes that pick one team but can't commit at the end of signing day. What's wrong with the Falcons? They can't get to the quarterback, and they've put so many resources into getting to the quarterback. It's wild how, you know, they spend first-round picks on 2 pass rushers, yet their best option is probably a 5th-round pick, Grady Jarrett, who is extremely good. I mean, if you can't get to the quarterback, a defense has basically no fighting chance. I mean, unless you have like 4 Deion Sanders and Darrelle Revis in their prime, without a pass rush, you're going to have a really bad time. Injuries, you know, they lose Keanu Neal again. Horrible. Cole Hartman or Clay Stites? Ooh. I don't know. That one might be too even. Campbell was NCAA 14? You know what? You're right. You're right. Because he went to Iowa when we were at Minnesota. Yeah. That wasn't the soft commit situation. That was Fred Arnold in the UTSA series. Now we're starting to get to the point where, you know, I'm making references that not everybody's going to remember. It's now been long enough to where I can reference things that are over 5 years old, and a lot of you might not even know what I'm talking about. But in my UTSA dynasty way back when, Fred Arnold, linebacker, soft commit, ended up going to Colorado. We ended up playing Colorado. He intercepted me twice. I've had some say I should check out past versions of NCAA because Dynasty used to be more fleshed out. Is that really the case? My only condition there, I'll go back to old NCAA. My only condition is I will not touch NCAA 13 Dynasty again. I can't do it. The DB glitch renders that game nearly unplayable. If you call vertical routes in that game, it is so overpowered because of the bug that they never fixed, to where defenders would bite on breaks that never happened and you'd easily get behind them. Like in UTSA, I had to stop calling vertical routes because it would have just been, it wouldn't have been fun to watch. There we go. So I'll go back to old games, but I will not touch NCAA 13. Madden 11 Vikings, how old is that? That's over 8 years. Madden 11, not a game I look back at very fondly either. I played Madden 12 last year for a one-off video on the second channel. That game holds up. It's still fun. The sliders I had still gave me a good time. I would be so down to go back to Madden 12, even with that awful potential system. We'll find some games to go back to. I'm not sure, I might just leave it up to like a poll or something like that. Maybe I'll leave it up to channel members or something like that to vote in a poll to see what game I'll play for just a one-off stream, and we'll see what happens. Because I love experimenting with games and different series, just different ideas. Like the Browns rebuild, as I've gone over before, was never supposed to be a big series. It was supposed to be like 4 episodes. I'd easily rebuild the Browns, and then I would find the next experiment. Well, I tried to rebuild the Browns. It wasn't as easy as I thought it was, and we ended up going 18 seasons instead of like 3. That's when I realized, holy cow, we got something here. And now, nearly 2 years later, it is the flagship series on my second channel, and really transformed that channel overall. Harold, thank you for the super chat. Who is your most disappointing player in Dynasty and biggest surprise player? Are we talking like ever? Because there was Chris Washington, linebacker for UTSA, and he was supposed to be like James Huggins is now, and he was not James Huggins. Biggest surprise? Maybe number 14 right there. He's one of them, Colt Sully. Marcus Payne has to be up there. I didn't think much of him early in his career. Nice. Aaron Higdon, yeah. Aaron Higdon, I hyped him up. That really didn't amount to much. Even though I played him a little bit. And then Bonds, we basically repeated that whole story. And it'll come full circle tomorrow. Yeah, Zach Flowers, he had some splash plays. Can't remember which game, but there was a highlight video I know. I remember editing it where he had some just game-changing fourth quarter interception that shouldn't have been attempted, but it was just one heck of a play. Morgan, way down there. Nice play, Red. Oh yeah, Matt Pierre. Davis Clark, yep, that's a big disappointment. David Clark was supposed to be he was a 5-star receiver, ended up being nothing more than a decent kick returner. Was supposed to be a deep threat. 2 years ago, 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 2 How's the audio, by the way? Is there anything that's too quiet or anything? Like, I want the game audio to be audible. I know I had to mix some things up after the Maximum Football stream. And the color correction looks okay. I forgot to even adjust that because it was looking decent. Okay. I'm just testing out my different color correction filters I have here. This is with no color correction, and this is with my Maximum Football color correction. It brings out a little more life out of that grass. I like that. Sounds good. Change up the music, but I just found this one today and I'm enjoying it. Any thoughts on the Seahawks this year? Josiah, thank you for the super chat. The Seahawks, I mean, they're just a solid football team, and Russell Wilson is the man. Also, shout out Chris Carson. He's pretty good. I still think the Seahawks are winning that division. They're going to the playoffs. I think Russell Wilson is just the biggest difference maker there. Love watching him play. How did Chambers come away with that one? The Perry Cummings Air Force quarterback road to glory. I'm not sure yet. The Anton Greenberry road to glory wasn't quite as interesting as I thought it could be. So I've held off a little bit. I do think that playing at least an offense like Air Force's will make a Perry Cummings series more interesting. I guess I just held off because I wasn't sure if it would be all that exciting or whatnot. And plus, I've done less experimenting lately, just knowing about the move process and whatnot. But I can finally get back into opening up the channels again. Surf is coming back today, by the way. San Diego Surf on the channel after this stream is done. Twins, I was hoping this week, gonna have to be probably Monday instead. Nice catch, Vincent. I think we have to talk about Josh Vincent here. Do I dare redshirt both DeHonte Jeffries and Phoenix Chambers? Like, obviously getting that extra year of eligibility is always key. You never want players to leave, but it is a waste to have a player on the active roster yet not play because they're just not ready. Redshirt both. Right now I feel like I want to redshirt them. I just know how much of a risk it is. But is it equally risky to redshirt versus play sparingly? Like, I've had players barely play and move on, and I'm not going to just start DeHonte Jeffries or Chambers if they're not the best talents. If I had to play one, I'd probably play Jeffries, because I feel that his skills would still be pretty starting caliber. Whereas Chambers, I just don't think he'd warrant playing time over who we have. Let Jeffries play as a backup safety. That is something I need to experiment with. Could he potentially be strong safety? Well, I care if they leave, Joe, because they were the two best players out of this entire draft class. That's all. Let's go to defense and see. The thing is I don't think Jeffries has the run stopping abilities. He's extremely fast. Kent can certainly play the run better. Foster, Robinson, Howard. They're a lock to play. If I play Jeffries, it has to be over Rice and Doucette. They're all fast. And coverage-wise, I mean, it's not even a comparison there, especially zone. Like, Rice is really good. But I do think we've seen Vincent grow into a player that is going to get some playing time this year. Backup safety. Doucette should play safety. What do I use to make my thumbnails? I use Photoshop. Irvin as emergency kicker. The game must by default. We don't have anybody who could really be a backup kicker besides our punters. Yeah, Chambers could be a return guy. Is that worth a year of eligibility with a few sparing snaps? It could be. What's nice is if I change my mind, I can just burn the red shirt. And I'm not going to redshirt them later in their careers because there will be less players, you know, vying for playing time. Can you still download teams off a team builder? I'm pretty sure you can download anything that's already uploaded. Is that correct? But it has to already be uploaded content. So, like, Kalispell's on there. I'm pretty sure you can go on there right now and download Kalispell. Yep, I edit all my videos. I do. A lot of people have editors, but I don't know. I still like being a one-man operation here. Between Edwards, Sully, Houston, and Vincent, I think Chambers should be redshirted because he won't get a lot of playing time. Yeah, I mean, it's a risk whether we redshirt him or just barely play him. So, maybe it's best to just maximize that year of eligibility. A lot of the key ratings are low, and we have other players that can do the kick return job. So it'll really stink if we lose somebody. Yeah, it is hard to throw on any of these guys. Progressing corners is a little easy in this game. How was my smoothie? It was fantastic. Strawberry, blueberry, cherry. That's my favorite blend. Nothing with a bunch of seeds, and it's just the best flavor blend that I've found. Used to do raspberries, but they have too many seeds. Same with blackberries. Ah, so close. What's the best meme in channel history? It's gotta be Leon. There's no one quite like Leon Daniels. Let's try another young running back. Spins out Brightful. That's a pretty good one. That's a pretty good one. Sherrod Edwards would be a 70 overall running back. That's interesting. Good elusiveness, spin, and juke. His carrying is atrocious, though. So I don't think that's going to happen anytime. I'm glad I'm not the biggest meme, Ollie Sparks. Alright, kind of want to see these linebackers get spotlighted a little bit more, and it's easier to do that if I don't spread the defense so much. Red is just everywhere, though. Can't deny that Elliott Red is ready to make an impact. Solid coverage, Jaron Williams. Again, patrolling the middle. Wasn't an easy completion. Made a miss that time. The cornerback, the Jags sniped me in the Chargers series. Corin Haggerty. I'm not sure why I even had to think for a minute there. Corin Haggerty, 6'4". That was a painful moment. Oh, that wasn't even intended for him. Will Hayden John Charles be in a franchise draft class? When his year comes around, yes. Although I have not checked to see who's in the draft class after Heikkinen. I believe it's year 8. I believe that the current draft class for Madden is my year 8 Kalispell. But whoever's in the following year. It's going to go chronologically at least. A punt battle? I already redshirted Day, so unfortunately I can't use him without taking the red shirt off at this stage. I just want to see who was in coverage there. Because that was really good coverage. 53. Okay, Stewart. Yeah, Heikkinen would be probably close to an Andrew Luck level prospect. Maybe a Matt Ryan. Harold, thank you for the super chat. I mentioned it before, but a Hurricane Hall of Fame would be awesome with players like Nate Bell, Shepard, and maybe Maxwell Fowler. Yeah, as time goes on, we certainly have more players who would be worthy. And it's still something that I think I should do for the channel. And as I start to close series and to wrap some things up, it might be easier to get around to something like that. Like I've talked about this before, like my real dream here is that I could do basically one main series on the channel. It would be a Madden franchise, and it would be uploaded very frequently. It'd be my only real series on the channel, and I could go super deep into it. It would free up time for things like the MrHurriicane Hall of Fame, or just my second channel, or whatever. But to really maximize a Madden franchise on a level I haven't before, and it's something that I don't know if I'll do it on Madden 20, if I'll like really not do a lot of other stuff at some point, because like Kalispell's not ready to end yet. I still have the Twins going for now, but I feel like perhaps in 2020 Kalispell will end, Twins will end, and maybe I rely on Madden franchise a lot more. I have a lot of Hall of Fame players, though, in All-Pro Football. Last year, was it last year I did this? I feel like it was last November or something. I did the MrHurriicane Hall of Fame game, where it was just a bunch of star players in All-Pro Football 2K8, and it was such a good time. I want to play All-Pro Football 2K8 again. Who wants to see All-Pro sometime soon? Let me look that up. When was that? All-Pro Football 11 months ago. It was November 3rd, so nearly a year ago, and then I didn't touch it, the game, because it was supposed to be a one-off stream. It was worth it. It was really fun. Head Coach 09. That's been requested for 7 years, ever since I broke it out in a stream and messed around with it. My main thing lately has been trying to not add a whole lot of new stuff, so I can end more of the big stuff and then replace it with less, so to say. But I do feel like something I'll have room for in the somewhat near future is coming on here to stream a game like Head Coach and then turn it into videos for the second channel. It would allow me to record it, obviously. I'm still recording and editing, but what would be nice is I would get all of your help. Those of you that have more experience with these games and can help me out. I think it would make for better content that way. Would real life players be edited? No, it would be players that only exist in this, or originated in this universe. So it wouldn't have Christian Ponder in the Hall of Fame. Unless I had like a special condition, but I wanted to highlight players from past series. I've always been really unsure of if I'd like to do storylines like that, Robert. You know, I really just want the game to steer the ship. I don't want to have to do a bunch of stuff on my own, but, you know, the games only have so much to offer, and that's why I've tested the waters a little bit with things like suspending Triplet and who else did I suspend for that one game? Can't remember at the moment. But little things like that, I think that I'm all for them when they make sense. Like just a random storyline, say, oh, X player gets suspended for, you know, we just say like steroids for like a random thing. Like that's not really my style. More so, I want to still work with what the game gives me, but maybe I take it a step further than the game will take it. And so when I saw that that training for 2-star players, they hardly got better in the off season. I'm like, okay, this is where a suspension fits and it doesn't feel forced. Will I ever summarize a point in less than like 30 seconds? That's it. I don't like it feeling forced. It still has to feel somewhat natural. I have all my old save files, and they're all backed up on the cloud too, because I know these consoles are gonna die on me one day. Maybe. I take care of them for the most part. Yeah, suspensions and stuff like that are where the scenario engine would be really cool, but I mean, the NFL dictates everything that is in Madden. I mean, they don't want stuff like that in the game. So if you want something like that, it's going to have to be from a third party. And while there are some third-party games being made, they're far from delivering the experience that we wish Madden would give us. But it was still nice to check out like Maximum Football and to see what they're working on. And I'm totally down to continue trying those games and to see, you know, where they can get better, because I feel like we'd all benefit if there was just a game that catered to what we're looking for a little bit better. You know, from a gameplay standpoint, All Pro Football gave us a lot of what we were looking for, but it didn't have the feature set. I even think that if Backbreaker had a couple more iterations, it had a chance to be a really nice football game, and I still enjoyed it for what it was. The NCAA playoff mod. I've had some people talk about that. I really don't know much about it. I didn't even know you could really mod PS3 and 360 games. Hey, thank you, Ryan. I appreciate that. Hope you're having a good day. Hope you're all ready for a good weekend. Hopefully some good football action coming our way. I know we have some, at least a couple good college football matchups. I know Michigan's in a really good matchup. I like this part of the college season, though, because we're usually getting at least one or two high-profile conference games from the Power 5 a week. There are less, you know, snooze-fest games. Or there's still a lot of them, but there's at least a few more that are going to be intriguing. In my Orioles franchise, I developed a pitcher draft pick to 99 overall with 100-plus mile-per-hour fastball. He won Cy Young and MVP. That's pretty good. How do you develop a player to 99? How long did that take? Because I got Max to like, what, low 90s? I'm a few years in with him. The playoff mod takes about 15 minutes to do. I'd have to see how you do it and how you manipulate the file and whatever. Which coaches are on the hot seat? Dan Quinn. If the Browns can't get it together, I do think Freddie Kitchens could be gone after 1 year. Beyond them, I don't know if I want to say Vrabel. I just feel like they're in a quarterback nightmare at the moment. Possibly Jason Garrett. I feel like he's perpetually on the hot seat, though. Could Pat Shurmur? I don't know. It really depends. Because a lot of it depends on, like, how does a front office feel about success with a rookie quarterback. Because usually a rookie quarterback gives you a free pass, but not always. Other than that, there's no one I feel that comes to mind that I really think is on the hot seat. Yeah, Wilkes, one and done. Every now and then you get a one and done coach. A couple of years ago for the 49ers, I can't remember his name. I think he's O-line coach right now for Washington, or at least he was. Refresh my memory. Who was... I just can't remember. Yeah, Jim Tom Sula. That's who it was. I don't know if we're in one and done territory this year. The Dolphins are pretty bad, but I feel like they're not going to go one and done. That team is just atrocious. D-line coach. Yeah, that's right. Not O-line. Best quarterback in Kalispell history. I think it's got to be Mr. Brandon Warren. I'm kind of liking Antoine Morgan as the QB2 over Reddick. Like, if he seriously has to start a game, I have a lot more faith in him throwing than Reddick. And it's not really close. Reddick's all over the place. I also think Vincent has one wide receiver 5, and he's going to be one of the reasons why I think I want to redshirt Chambers, but not the only reason. Like, having Chambers be wide receiver 5 on its own isn't really worth it, but I think Vincent right now is better than him. Yes, I do think Seattle will win the West. Packers winning the North, I believe they will. If the Vikings can, I think the Vikings have a chance to compete with them. They obviously have to beat them in the next head-to-head. But the Packers are probably going to have a better division record than them. So the Vikings have to go on a really good run to top the Packers. I just don't think they're going to do it. Hey, Colt Sully. And the Bears, I mean, they're still going to be in the mix. They're obviously coming off that bad loss to the Raiders. And the Vikings haven't shown they can handle playing against a defense like theirs, so it's even debatable to put them above the Bears, although they're obviously trending up just based on the last couple weeks. If the Packers had lost to the Lions, I think it could be a different story. But that is not how it happened, of course. I don't think everybody in the NFC North will have a winning record. I feel like at least there's going to be an 8-8 team. But if there's ever a division to have everybody at least 9-7, it's that one. Glad you had a good time, Gage. I appreciate you spending some time here. Look at Ty Navarro on the shovel pass. It finally worked, everybody. Ty Navarro all the way. Finally. Same here, Jordan. I think Cleveland's an 8-8 team. That team is extremely young with a rookie head coach. Like, that's why I couldn't commit to them in the offseason. Although I didn't expect this. I just wasn't as confident as others were in them going to the playoffs, winning that division or the wild card, whatever. They were just, being how young they are, they're not a team that yet knows how to win. They have a lot of talent, but it takes more in the NFL. They got a couple veterans too. Like, I think about Odell and Jarvis Landry. They didn't come from winning franchises. I think that team really needs like a true veteran leader that understands like a winning culture and how to cultivate that a little bit. Like, do they have anybody that would fit that? Harold, thank you. Have a great night and go Astros. I agree. Go Astros. Finish the job. The Twins sure couldn't do it, so I just want to see another team pull it off. The Pats with an NFC schedule. I love to see that, Chris. My goodness, their schedule is just awful. And their road to the Super Bowl gets even easier with the Mahomes injury. It doesn't surprise me the Cowboys paid Elliott. I don't think that teams are not they're getting more risky. I feel like they're doing a better job of, you know, taking big chances in the hope of a big reward. But, you know, do you pay Zeke? Of course they did. Do you pay Jared Goff? Of course they did. Teams are simply paying these players hoping their same level of success stays. And it's probably going to continue happening because it's a very big risk to not pay them. So they just play it safe. And if they're already a winning team, they're like, okay, we can keep it going. And they won't. Because it's not that easy. I'd have to pick the Astros to win the World Series. Just, they're pitching. And it's backed up by that offense that has pop and a couple high average hitters. Like, they're just the most well-rounded team out there. Trubisky over Goff? Wow. At this point, I don't know who I'd rather give $150 million to. There was part of me that wondered if the Rams would pay Goff, and the reason being is because they did a really good job with their blueprint of spending everywhere else, going out to trade for Brandon Cooks, acquire Robert Woods, have those picks work. They go and they bring in Ndamukong Suh. They've been extremely aggressive, and part of me wondered, do they actually think they can do this while paying Jared Goff all this money? Clearly they can't pay everybody, but do they see this model and say, you know what? We're better off finding another quarterback because Goff is maybe a borderline average passer. So let's try this again and maintain this spending philosophy. And they, of course, did not do it because I haven't seen a single team have the guts to do that yet. But if there was ever a team that should have, I think it was the Rams. Also, Andrew Whitworth, another great move they made. Those are the kinds of moves you make with a cheap quarterback. And now Goff is going to limit that. And if Goff isn't better, you are effectively worse for the duration of his contract. Yeah, Moore is redshirted, so I can't play with him. Let's get Henderson out there. I feel he deserves a little love. Oh, they're getting after Verlander right now? I forget. I don't normally stream at this time of day, so I don't usually stream when there's stuff going on. Oh, it's 1-1. Bottom one, nobody down. Yankees already have a run. Their backs are against the wall. All right. I'll have to throw that game on then here. in a little bit. Kevin, I appreciate that kind comment. I like that that 6 next to your name as well. I appreciate the support, man. Means a lot. McChesney over Trubisky. Wow, Pat McChesney. We're going that far. I started Pat McChesney in a football game. That was against Seattle, right? I started Pat McChesney in a football game. Wow. I did that. Yeah, Brandon Smith is already a senior. It's nuts. Can someone refresh my memory on the Pat McChesney game in the Bears franchise? I have no clue which game that was. Was that year 2, week 8? January of 2018? I lost that game 34-10 and played Pat McChesney the whole game. That was something. I like Tua, but I haven't seen enough personally of like Jake Fromm or some of the others to know where I would stand with that. But I'd probably end up preferring Tua. This defense is just so talented still. I can't wait to see this defense face Montrell Bonds. I know that. Of course, I can't force Elliott Red to take a bad angle. I tried. Oh my goodness. Reddick is just all over the place with his accuracy. And this is after a year of development. All right, I want some predictions here. How do you think Bonds will play? He is an 89 overall. He is the best player on Fresno, but he has to face our defense. What do you expect? Defense is a little fast. Do you think he'll have 100 yards? 73 yards, touchdown, fumble, 75 yards, touchdown. What would be a good over-under for his yardage total? Like 70 and a half, 75 and a half. $39 rushing, 19 receiving. Yeah, it is very dependent on O-line. We're a very tough team to run on. We always have been. Well, not always, but ever since we got talented players in recruiting, we've been tough to run on. They're going to have to have the Stanford approach, though, if they're going to have a chance, I think, in this game. Bonds was always slow to accelerate. Yeah, and you can't really have any wasted movement against our defense. We have the speed to get to the edge, and I think that his best hope is to be breaking tackles and take advantage of some of these new players that we haven't gotten as familiar with. I want to know what kind of an impact Red's going to have. Like, in practice, he's flashing, but I cannot wait to see when we're actually like calling real plays and strategizing a little bit. What can Elliott Red do? He might be the ultimate chess piece that I've been waiting for in this series. I have seen some Michigan this year, but I watched the game against Wisconsin where they didn't even compete. The second best team after the Mahomes injury in the AFC. Man, there are not a lot of great options, I'm telling you that. The Colts. The thing is with Buffalo is I never see them being able to score with the Patriots. I feel like you got to have a little bit better offense to get by them. I think Houston, you know, is possible, but do you really think that Houston with their O-line issues is going to beat a Patriots team? Like, they're going to have to score. They're going to have to do so much to overcome that weakness. And I think where the Colts shine is with their offensive line. And I think they're a more well-rounded team than the Texans and the Bills are. The Ravens, yeah. I think the Ravens could actually... I forgot about the Ravens for a minute. If I had to pick one team right now straight up to beat the Patriots, I think I'd have to take Baltimore. Because with Lamar Jackson, there's not like one or two adjustments you can make that I think take him away. So in a single game setting, I feel like they could overcome the Patriots defense in a way. Like, sure, you got Stephon Gilmore and their secondary is playing well, but it's not like the Ravens have great receivers. You're not neutralizing much. They're still going to be able to scheme and run and do their game. You're not changing anything. Oh, Hicks just went yard. 4-1. We got a game after all. Verlander getting shelled. Wow. Did not see that coming. The Yankees look pretty down for the count. I do hope. Do we get an update on CC's injury, by the way? Like, is he going to have a chance to pitch again in this series? I'd just like to see him have a different exit to his career is all. CC done. We should do some special teams practice. Yeah, we've seen enough of this. I think we have to test out new kicker Brandon Hammond. I am so hungry tonight. Brandon Hammond. Did he miss that kick? He sure did. Okay. What do we got for ratings on Brandon Hammond? .89 kick power, 71 accuracy. What if I angle this down a little bit? Was that one even good? It's going well, Decanator. How you doing? Just testing out our new freshman kicker, who might not be that reliable beyond 50 without some wind. This is 52-yard tries we're testing out. That was good. Got to angle it down a little bit. And the thing is, too, is you need to kick these straight. And that might be a little tough with his accuracy to do on an every kick basis. Because if the kick curves a little bit, it's now traveling a further distance. A slightly further distance to do so. It needs to be a straight kick. And I'm just testing, you know, how straight can I keep his kicks. Between the hashes is always pretty easy. Let's try on a hash. This is where you really want to shorten the distance. You kind of want this to go closer to the inside upright because it will be a slightly shorter kick. For instance, if I try to go to the far upright, it's going to be a little trickier at times. But yeah, I mean, it's NCAA. It's not a hard kicking game. The 71 accuracy is probably not going to have too much of an effect. I might even look at the kick accuracy slider then, because in NCAA, it's actually different for user and CPU, right? You can actually edit one or the other. Oops. Shade Down Underwood or Reggie Shepherd. Oh, don't make me pick between those two. I don't think, well, Blaze Bortles might, but he also missed an extra point that gave Kalispell the opening, is all. I really hope that a football game wants to come out sometime. All-Pro Football was a fun game to kick in, but other than that, like, how about a game where kicking is actually an entertaining part and a more dramatic moment? That's all kicks are in the NFL. Unless it's Justin Tucker, you're not sure it's going in. And even he missed the game winner last season. I haven't played an All-American, so I don't know much about sliders on that one. You'd have to check Operation Sports. Yeah, online, sometimes the kick gets tougher because there is a greater degree of latency. Madden, it's easier to miss kicks in occasionally. Like, I'll miss a kick in Madden every now and then. Due to accuracy on my end. And then Alex Greer. And I think the right way to test out punting is, like, after a bad drive and a 3-and-out, how far can he kick this? About 50, 55 air yards from his standing spot. Of course, a bounce like this would be very helpful. Yeah, I'll edit numbers and stuff like that. I haven't gotten around to any of that, but I will on my own. Look at Elliott Red. Elliott Red is so fast. He can play safety. Watch this. Elliott Red at the 20. He's able to get back for a punt. He's retreating 28 yards. He has the time to get underneath it, call fair catch, and secure it naturally. That's how fast Elliott Red is. He's not fair. I did lose to Penn State because of Ice the Kicker. I've had very few kicks lately on Ice the Kicker, and just happened to miss that one, not accounting for, I was on one of the hashes, and in NCAA, it's a little bit tougher on the hash because your angle does matter. Elliott Red is a beast. I'll try a low line drive. Does he have time now? Not that time. He's Sean Taylor. I mean, I don't think he'll hit like Taylor. Honestly, if you want a comp for him, he's Taylor Mays. But Mays could hit too. So I don't know. I want to see if they can get a punt return touchdown. I'm trying to punt it to Red. I don't think it's going to work. Yeah, his size and speed gives him more range than I've ever had at safety. And I really can't wait to see what Red can do, because he did not have a good season last year, but now he has a role and he's really playing well in the practices. So what's going to happen this season? I think it'll be very exciting to find out. How do you make the user in this game more realistic? The CPU always passes so well. Well, there's not a whole lot you can do about the CPU passing. They're just really good on Heisman. I think all you can do is try to tighten up coverage a little bit to adjust their completion percentages and everything, but getting them to miss throws is not something you can really do on with sliders with average quarterbacks or anything. I'll do some practicing on my own, and I'll test out some field goal accuracy stuff, and I'll find a setting that I feel is a bit more appropriate, because I have a 71 accuracy kicker. Shouldn't that mean something? I think it probably should. And I can adjust it separate of CPU. Luis Ariz, Rookie of the Year in the American League? I don't think so. I don't think he'll win it, but I think he's a really good player. Didn't have the best series against the Yankees, but always appreciate guys with his approach to the plate. Really tough out, and utilizes all fields and good contact hitter. Like players like that. Am I going to show us the playbook? What do you mean exactly? Like go through what I have for my playbook? What award is hard for you to get in this game for a season? I can't win a Heisman. I can win best linebacker all the time. I've won that one so many times. I've won the Mackey. I've won about every award there is except for the Heisman. I mean defensively. Ariz hit fine, but defensively he wasn't the same. He was one of the Twins' better hitters in that series. And the defense, I don't know, I feel like the defense cost them a bit more than the offense helped them. Mostly because the rest of the offense was asleep. So it's not really fair. But this is the playbook that I use. It's custom. I made this over the course of many seasons, and these are the formations that I've added in here. A lot of shotgun, of course. A little bit of other stuff. Haven't edited it in a little while. I might do a little refresh on it tonight before I get into it. That might be fun. Want to see a classic? Want to see a throwback? Oh yeah, Orioles are going to be a really good choice for franchise next year. I love to do an all-time game like that. I just don't know if it would be very easy to pull off, especially without Team Builder to help me out. I didn't want to load that. I wanted to load the Minnesota playbook. I haven't seen that one in a while. Why am I going into practice? I'm not used to checking my playbook for some reason. My brain kind of turns off during streams too as I start just autopiloting certain things. All right, Minnesota offense. Min multiple. That'd have to be it. Last edited February 2016. Been a little bit. It doesn't want to load though. What's up with my playbooks? They're not loading them up. Oh well. Yeah, I think the Rockies are a really good option if you want like a middle-of-the-road team, maybe a step or two away from making it. The Rockies team is really fun. Alright guys, I think I'm going to get out of here tonight then and get some things in order. Got to get some food and then get everything in place to play a little Kalispell so I can get you all a new episode tomorrow, week 1 against Fresno State. It's actually week 2, but by week 1, so I also get to do some recruiting, so it sounds like I have a busy night ahead of me. I better get to it. Thank you all for supporting the channel. Can't wait to get a new season of Kalispell football headed your way. Have a good one, everybody. Enjoy your weekend.